It is Season 10 of League of Legends, and we are about to enter our 10th World Championship. Though League is no longer at the peak of its popularity, it continues to find newer and younger audiences each year. As the game continues to get older and older, prodigies become younger and younger. Chess is over 15 centuries old, and their youngest grandmaster was 12 years of age. League of Legends is only 1 decade old, yet we already have young prodigies as young as 13 years old. This is the story of Griffin, North America's youngest challenger jungler.
My name is Johnson. I play League, and I hit Challenger at 13. I started playing League of Legends in Season 5. I was 8 when I started playing Ranked. I can't remember when I first started playing League of Legends as a whole. I was probably around 6. I played Silver 5, but I didn't really play too seriously back then. I was 6 and 7. I just played like bot games and stuff. I think I settled on jungle because I just like impacting the map, and my brother played it, so I might have like looked up to him. When I started taking League seriously was probably around Season 7. My first 2 seasons in Season 5 and 6, I was just silver. I was just not taking it too seriously. Season 7 one was I first hit it gold, and I was like, okay, I like this game. I want to see how high I can climb. Season 8 was when I first hit diamond. Even then, I didn't think I was like too good. I would play a game. I wouldn't really think too much. I would autopilot. You have to like give it your all every game if you want to improve. When I started hitting like masters, when I was like, okay, I have some potential. I will try to like try hard in ranked and see how much I can improve and climb the ladder. My champion pool is quite diverse. It depends like how I'm feeling. I usually like to play for myself though, because I feel like that's the best way to climb. Most of my champions are carry champs. Olaf is my most played, followed by Graves and Kayn. I personally look up to I Will Dominate. I think he's the fact that like he believes in me. I think that's very inspiring, and because I used to really look up to him when I was younger, or when I was like young, or like 10. How I first met I Will Dominate was he had an argument with this one streamer. I added him, give my perspective on it. So he accepted it, we had a conversation. Later on, he made it like a post on Twitter. If you wanted coaching, if you were D2+, he would give you coaching. Yeah, he did coaching for me and hosted me. It was very inspirational because he showed that he believes in me.
Easy.
Some clean games, honestly. Some clean games. Yeah, I mean, I think you're definitely good enough to get Challenger.
My brother got me into the game. I would always watch him play. So I just wanted to do the things he did. Like, he's a big inspiration in my life overall. My brother doesn't play anymore. He's currently in dental school, but he played around Season 8, Season 7. He peaked Plat 1.
My name is Jordan. I'm Johnson's older brother. I am 24, currently going to dental school in San Francisco. Family life, we have 2 other sisters. Johnson is the youngest. My parents came to America in the 90s. We are Vietnamese. Johnson was born when I was 11, started playing League in Season 1, and stopped playing when I went to college.
My relationship I have with my brother is very close. I like to talk to him a lot. Me and him are really close. He's the person I talk to if I have any troubles. He's also the person I always like talk to if anything good happens, like if I get hosted by someone. My brother is really important to me because he's always been like a role model. The way he behaves, like I try to model myself after him. He was always like a second parent would be there for me.
So with my sisters, it's more like I'm a stricter older brother, kind of like a third parent. Whereas with Johnson, I feel like he doesn't talk to me about many problems. It's more of like talking about games and talking about his stream or talking about YouTube.
Initially, the first 3 years, honestly, my parents weren't never fine with it. I'd have to like hide myself playing League. They'd always try to take the computer. I remember I would play on my bed, and when I hear them come home, I would try to hide myself playing them. But I think over time, they got used to it. My brother like told them. I tried to explain it to them as well as my siblings. I'm really good at this game, and I can make it as my future.
Growing up, you're in an Asian household. It's really strict. Me playing games, it wasn't exactly accepted. You know, they want you to focus on school. It's the same for my siblings. Their view of it probably was a lot more like, it's super bad for you. It could be the thing that changes you from being a homeless person and being a successful like student. Like that's not true at all. I remember a story. My uncle would actually talk to my mom and be like, Jordan is learning a lot from playing video games, because there's a lot of things you can learn when playing different video games, right? When I played RuneScape, there's a lot of numbers in terms of, your stats, how much damage you do, how much damage you take, the RNG involved, and like the chances of you hitting a critical, things that you would learn about trading. You learn a lot of weird, unique things from playing different video games. My parents didn't really like it, and they would sometimes punish me by they would take away my laptop. They're still strict now. For example, with Johnson, my mom or my dad will take away his keyboard in the middle of a game. I have to talk to them and say, like, you got to understand that that's not okay. I have to try to convince them that what Johnson is playing is pretty important. Esports being relatively new, there's no way that they understand. The only way that I could explain it to them is that I put it into like numbers. If there's 1,000 people that play this game, Johnson is number one at it. He is the top one player. And this is when he was in Diamond. And as he's been getting better, I kind of revisit the topic. I tell my parents, he's really, really good. If you can think about it, if there's 10,000 people, he's number one in that 10,000. And I just kept scaling it up to explain it to them because that's the only way they'll understand. He has a lot of potential with League.
I am from Illinois. My family grew up in Vietnam, and then they moved to the United States. I was born in the United States. What my parents do for a living is they work at a nail salon. They both work in a nail salon, and my mom owns the nail salon.
That's like the most Vietnamese stereotype ever. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Growing up, we didn't come from any money, I guess. Chicago isn't necessarily that dangerous in my opinion, but it's probably because I grew up in that environment. When you move away from Chicago, the consensus is that they think it's a very dangerous place with all the guns and the gangs and stuff. As long as you are not in the worst neighborhoods, you're kind of okay. My parents, they moved to Chicago because they wanted to do nails. A lot of Vietnamese people work in nail salons, and Chicago happened to be a place where the business was booming back in the 90s. Where I lived was a little bit more south. It was kind of dangerous, kind of shady. Sometimes there'd be shootings, across the street, around the block. Sometimes they would get robbed at night, try to be aggressive, try to, do that kind of stuff. When Johnson was born, we moved out of the south side of Chicago and into the suburbs. When I grew up, my parents kind of expected me to be the golden child. So it was expected for me to work at the nail salon with them, help out the family business. People can attest, working with families is a little stressful. You don't want to disappoint. That part of growing up, I would prefer that Johnson and my siblings don't get to experience, to be honest. That's why I'm pretty happy with Johnson doing what he's doing, because he's making money out of it and it's kind of like a job to him. So he's probably not going to need to go out to the nail salon and help my parents with that. It's just more detrimental to Johnson for him to feel like, oh, my parents don't understand and they're just taking it away from me because they don't want me to have it. That's sometimes how I felt. Like I didn't understand why do they have to limit me? It's not, affecting me, this and that. So I try to be kind of like that bridge because I went through it. I know my parents, I know myself, and I know what it was like back then.
So around 1 year ago, my brother and I wanted to get a computer for myself. My brother already had a computer back at California where he does dental school. So he wanted to get me a computer. I was around Diamond 5 around this time, and I was convinced that my laptop was holding me back. My laptop was very low quality, and it just didn't perform in games, and I really wanted a new computer.
The laptops that we have had throughout the years, they have been so bad. They're so shitty. Like, it's basically just a Dell laptop you can probably get from like a Walmart. Like I said, we don't really come from money. When I was younger, the laptops that I had were laptops that we kept for like 5 to 10 years, and it would just be some Dell computer that was worth like less than $100. I remember these laptops, they would overheat all the time. You had to consistently have it charging because the battery was dead. Every time I would come back from college, he would still be using the same laptop, sitting in his corner, having to charge it right by the outlet. On top of that, me and Johnson always played on a trackpad because the laptops have a trackpad and we never bought a mouse.
It had like consistent frames of like 15, so it wasn't that bad, but that's how I reached Diamond. My parents were always negative on it, but I know my brother had talks with them trying to convince. I don't think they truly grasp of the potential I had. And even when I didn't have potential, I just did it for fun, and my brother wanted me to be able to play because he understands I'm doing it for fun. So he helped convince my parents. But he had like some secret talks. He didn't allow me like in the talks. He just talked to them separately, and yeah. I'm a really good student. When I use my time, I try to use it as efficiently as possible. Whenever I'm in school, I try my best. I make sure I do all my homework, do that all in school. So I will never have homework, maybe like 20 minutes of homework max. So I can just use all that time in League.
Johnson's a smart kid. He's a straight A student and he doesn't need to spend extra time necessarily studying or doing extra work because he understands everything the first time it's said. Math is super easy to him, probably because he plays games. There's a lot of math in the games that we play. Johnson is a really smart kid. When I was in middle school and high school, I was the top of my class in terms of GPA. That's what was expected of me. I see Johnson as smarter than even I was at his age. I would never tell him this, but he's probably smarter than me. He's a lot more mature than me. I mean, obviously he has a lot more League of Legends skills than me, but in terms of school, like he got everything. When he was in 5th grade, he was doing like 8th grade math. That's probably because, you know, my sisters are a few years older than him, but when they would come home with math homework, Johnson seemed to understand it better than they did, and they were the ones in the math class being taught it at an 8th grade level. When I explained that stuff to Johnson while I was explaining it to Jenny and Julie, he would understand it better than they would. He's super emotionally intelligent also, and he's mature for his age.
When I tried to improve, I really didn't look at or watch players too closely. The way I improved mostly is just by grinding solo queue and trying my best. I really don't know how many games I played. I think this season in particular, I played a ton because of quarantine. I had a lot of time off, but I think last season I probably had around 1.2k games, and like probably the season before that I had like 1k. I think the hardest part of solo queue is just trying to have a good mental. A ton of games where you just have feeders, inters that could ruin your mental. You could drop a ton of games from tilting. If you can just move past that and make sure it doesn't affect your gameplay, you can make sure you can climb. You just gotta ignore the feeders and inters. But it's really hard, but like flaming them is not gonna do anything. Just suck it up. You're gonna lose the game, whatever. You don't want to focus on the feeder. Just don't think about them and just focus on your own improvement is what you want, right? It might be really hard to get this mentality, and I struggled to get it too, but I'm just saying like it's the ideal mentality. It'll be hard, but like you just got to train yourself to do it if you really want to climb. I think a very important thing that got me out of Diamond into Masters was that I just focused on myself, knew what my rank was, but I didn't have an ego about it, right? And I just didn't get tilted. I kept my head up, but it took me a while to become a true Grandmaster player. I think I demoted a lot, but I learned from the demotions, I learned from my mistakes, and I didn't think I deserved a certain rank. I think mental is just really important when it comes to League.
I can't really blame that game on them, because I inted twice. God, this game's tilting, but it's fine, it's fine. I'm not tilted. I swear to God, I'm not tilted.
I'm on track to become pro if I keep just doing the things I am doing. Ideally, I see myself in the LCS, and I would want to be one of the top players. Personally, if I get into LCS, I don't want to do it for like money or anything. I'd rather do it for like being competitive. I was always a competitive person. I always strive to be the best.
I would like to see him go pro, sure. Either that or for him to continue streaming and go to college maybe while streaming so that it could be like a side job for him. If he goes pro at 17 or 16 and he goes into amateur, and he puts, you know, he like drops out of high school and drops out of college, you know, he's still my younger brother and I'm still going to support him. I hope that that's like the best decision for him. And I don't know if it's going to be, I know going pro is going to, it's hard. I still know that there's a side to pro gaming that is super like glorious, you know, ton of fans and stuff. But then people like shit on pro players all the time. For example, FBI, you did one flash and it was, you know, whatever. And everyone blows up on him. And that's like really shitty, you know, I don't want that to happen. And he's still so young that, you know, maybe he doesn't want to stream all day every day. Well, then take a break, you know, like he still needs to enjoy being a kid, playing games for fun instead of playing games for a job, like as a job.
Wait, I just killed them all. Oh my God.
Super happy for him. I'm super proud. He's grown so much as a streamer. He's grown so much as a person in the last year. I'm super impressed by how mature his answers are. I obviously don't really remember like the day Johnson was born. I do remember that I was really happy to have a younger brother. Anywhere he goes, I will support him. I'm very impressed and very, very proud of him.
Thanks for watching, guys. I had a lot of fun on here. If you want to watch more of me, you can check me out on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube at Griffin Law. Thank you for Duanghua.